Go down to Councilman Ledford. You got the pledge tonight.
Yes, sir. If the vice chair will give me the flag when ready.
I'll come up with something.
I think you ought to come up with a different nation every week.
A different nation? Yeah, I could do that.
Oh.
See if anyone notices.
Mm.
Ooh.
You'll be starting a fight with that one, Councilwoman.
I know, but why not?
I could pick and choose which one I wanted to use depending on who had the pledge too.
Yes, you could. I think we ought to put up the one with the big blue stripe down the center of it.
Oh my gosh.
There goes
Okay, gang, it's
Henderson.
6 o'clock. Let's get down to business.
Get to work.
All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Tuesday, February the 16th City Council meeting. I now call this meeting to order. Our Pledge of Allegiance and invocation tonight will be given by Councilman Darren Ledford. Councilman?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Vice Chairman, if we could get a flag, please. Very good. If you would, please render the proper salute and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the
Flag
of the United States
States of America
and to the republic
for
which it
stands
one nation,
nation
under God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This evening, I would like to move the agenda.
Thank you, sir. This afternoon, we have no special presentation. So at this time, what is the pleasure of the council on the minutes?
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes with a proper second. Questions or comments before we vote? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
9 yeses.
the ayes have it. All right, moving on to your order of business for the city council this afternoon. We have a couple of ordinances under final reading. Under planning, Mr. Attorney,
Yes, sir.
if it's acceptable with you and there is no objection from the council, I'd like the clerk to read A, B, C, and D.
No objection to that. We just need to make sure if there's anyone present on any of those, they would have an opportunity to speak. It's on final reading
This
tonight.
this is on second reading.
Yes, sir. It's just on final reading. You're good.
Okay. All right, if there's no objection from the council, Madam Clerk, would you please read A through D, please?
Yes. Item A, an ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 802 Hamilton Avenue from M2 Light Industrial Zone to UGC Urban General Commercial Zone, subject to certain conditions. Item B, an ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 6626 Charlotteford Road from R1 residential zone to O1 office zone, subject to certain conditions. Item C, an ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 3415 Cleo Avenue from R1 residential zone to R2 residential zone. And item D, an ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 1132 East Main Street from M1 manufacturing zone to UGC Urban General Commercial Zone, subject to certain conditions.
All right, what's the pleasure of the council?
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve items 5A, B, C, and D with a proper second. Questions or comments before we vote? If not, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
9 yeses.
Motion to approve items 5A, B, C, and D carries. Thank you, ma'am. Now we move on to ordinances on first reading under planning. Madam Clerk, please, 6A.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to lift conditions from ordinance number 6120 for retention of easement from sanitary sewer and storm drain from part of the abandoned 1300 block of Anderson Avenue, more particularly described herein.
All right, is the applicant for this request present? Is there any opposition to this item present? Would you please raise your hand at this time? All right, Councilwoman Coonrod, the applicant is present. I'm not seeing any opposition. What would you like, ma'am?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Questions or comments before we vote? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
9 yeses.
so moved. Now we move into resolutions under economic and community development. Madam Clerk, would you please read 7A and B at this time?
Yes. Item A, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a second agreement to exercise option to renew in substantially the form attached with Dardanelle Loan for the lease of the barn at Brown Acres Golf Course for the keeping of animals consistent with zoning requirements at the address of 406 Brown Road on a portion of tax parcel number 158IG001 for an additional term of 1 year. Item B, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a first agreement to exercise option to renew in substantially the form attached with Chattanooga Hockey Inc. for the use of a portion of 1785 Reggie White Boulevard, identified as tax parcel number 145KE001.01 for an additional term of 1 year.
What's the pleasure of the council?
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve items 7A and B with a proper second. Questions or comments before we vote? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
9 yeses.
motion to approve carries 9-0. Now, Madam Clerk, if you would, under resolutions, read 7C, please.
A resolution to make certain findings relating to the Chattanooga Neighborhood Enterprise, Inc., My Bell 2 residential project, to delegate certain authority to the Health, Educational, and Housing Facility Board, and to authorize the mayor to enter into and execute an agreement for payments in lieu of ad valorem taxes.
Councilwoman Coonrod.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Any questions or comments before we vote? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
9 yeses.
so moved. All right, Madam Clerk, moving down to fire and information technology. Would you please read D and E at this time?
Yes. Item D, a resolution to amend resolution number 30614 for the purchase of 2 Stanley aluminum landing craft fire boats through the GSA contract for Metalcraft Marine at the same price of $238,596.66. Item E, a resolution requesting purchase order blanket 556370 for Target Vector Solutions be increased by $15,245 to allow training solutions for Moccasin Bend wastewater treatment plant to be added to the contract.
Councilman Byrd, followed by Councilwoman Coonrod.
Thank you, sir. On D, that doesn't read how mine read.
GSA.
Is it, which item?
D,
D, yes, mine doesn't have the verbiage of GSA in it on the one that I'm reading, but the one
Let me
that
go.
did she? Okay, yeah, mine doesn't either. Do you have the,
I have the correct version.
okay, so, well, if she has the correct version, I'd like to move to make an amendment to that, sir.
we got to get it on the floor first.
Okay,
Second.
Did he, I'm
so
sorry.
first I
didn't-
need to move to approve it.
That's
Second.
correct.
Mr. Chair, before we do that, can we confirm the clerk does have the right version? Is it the 347 agenda, Madam Clerk?
Yes, I can read that for you.
Read it again.
Yes, a resolution to amend resolution number 30614 for the purchase of 2 Stanley aluminum landing craft fireboats from Metalcraft Marine at the same price of $238,596.66.
Okay,
Okay,
thank
So
you. That is
the
correct.
version.
that's the correct version now. Okay,
Yeah.
well,
So-
being that, sir, I'm sorry, move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve items 7D and E. Do we have any questions or comments before we vote? Councilwoman Coonrod.
Oh, my hand up was for the second.
Okay,
There we
very
go.
well. Okay, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes,
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
9 yeses.
motion does carry 9-0. Now moving down to Public Works. Madam Clerk, if you would please read items F, G, and H.
Yes. Item F, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Public Works to approve change order number 1 for Stephen Billingsley, DBA Billingsley Architects, relative to contract number P18001-101, limited renovations at Police Annex for an increased amount of $19,411.81 for a revised contract amount of $55,811.81. Item G, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Public Works to approve change order number 1 for Jacobs Engineering Group, Inc. for contract number E200100201, disaster recovery management services contract for year 1 of the 4-year term blanket contract for an increased amount of $55,693 for a revised contract amount of $316,907. Item H, a resolution to amend resolution number 30369 to increase the annual not to exceed amount by an additional $150,000 for a revised contract amount not to exceed $550,000 for the remainder of year 4 of a 4-year term for the on-call blanket contracts for the geo-environmental consulting and construction materials testing services, contract number E16007-301 for the following 6 consulting firms: 1, Geo Services LLC, 2, KS Ware and Associates LLC, 3, S&ME Inc., 4, Stantec Consulting Services Inc., 5, Terracon Consultants Inc., and 6, Thompson Engineering Inc., based upon the 3 services categories of geotechnical, construction materials testing, and environmental services that each consultant has qualified.
What is the pleasure of the council?
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve items 7, F, G, and H with a proper second. Any questions or comments before we vote? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
yes,
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
9 yeses.
so moved. Now we move to YFD. Madam Clerk, if you would read I and J, please.
Item I, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Youth and Family Development to enter into an agreement with public entity partners from July 1, 2020 to July 1, 2021 for the 2020 fund year liability renewal policy for an amount not to exceed $27,586. Item J, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Youth and Family Development to renew the blanket agreement with Volunteer Electric from October 1, 2020 to September 30, 2021 for the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, LIHEAP, payments for the Office of Family Empowerment for an amount not to exceed $50,000.
Councilwoman Coonrod.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Questions or comments before we vote? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
9 yeses.
so moved. Now, council, if you would pull up your purchase item for this afternoon as we bring in Mr. Sammons. Mr. Vice Chair, would you bring Mr. Sammons in, please, for us? Good evening, Mr. Sammons. How are you?
I'm doing well, Mr. Chair, and members of council.
Good.
As you indicated, we only have one purchase item for this evening. It's from our Fleet Management Division of Public Works. It's for the purchase of wrecker, tow, and recovery services being awarded to Mostellers Wrecker Incorporated for an estimated annual cost of $150,000. And that concludes the purchase items.
All right. What is the pleasure of the council?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve tonight's purchase item. Questions or comments before we vote? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Byrd,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
9 yeses.
motion carries. Very well done this evening, Mr. Sammons.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Vice Chair, you can excuse our guest. And we will move to committee reports, and I will take them as I see them on the screen. Councilman Gilbert,
No report, sir.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
No reports.
Mr. Vice Chair,
No report, Mr. Chair.
Councilman Oglesby.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Today we had heard a great presentation from the LDG company for a pilot request for residential units located in the Alton Park, Pineywood, and Oak Hill communities. Real excited for what's going to happen to that community. And in addition, Mr. Chair, next week we will have our annual pilot report from Economic and Community Development. That's all I have, sir.
Very timely. Thank you, sir. Councilman Ledford,
No report, Chair.
Councilwoman Burrs,
No report, sir.
Councilman Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Next week, we will have a Public Works and Transportation Committee meeting following agenda session where hopefully we'll get a report from Public Works on sewer rates.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Councilman Byrd.
No report.
All right. That concludes our committee reports this afternoon. We now move to the time where we recognize persons wishing to address the council this evening. Mr. Vice Chair, do we have anyone that has registered to speak tonight?
We do have a few people, sir, but it looks like they may all be applicable to last week as far as opposing the PUD that was discussed and voted on.
And they're registered this week?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we'll give you an opportunity if there is anyone that has registered to speak for tonight's meeting. If you would like to do so at this time, would you please click on your raise hand button at this time? All right. Anyone wishing to speak tonight that has registered? Okay, council, I am seeing no hands raised at this time. What is the pleasure of the council?
Move to
Mr. Ch-
adjourn.
Yep, there you go.
So moved. We are adjourned. We'll see everyone